This is the Brave Ideas Podcast, brought to you by Aqua. And I am Dan Herman, I'm a strategist, and I'm joined today by my co-host,
Verushen. You guys know what?
Do we? No, seriously, do we?
I hope so. If you don't know who I am, then you haven't been at Aqua.
Okay, cool. Verushen is the head of analytics, for those of you who don't know. The Brave Ideas Podcast is all about bringing to light exciting new ideas in the realms of digital and marketing. And we're joined today by a very special guest, Kim Lee, a digital specialist, who's going to talk to us about her exciting vision for a new world of advertising. Kim, you're up. What's new?
So I've been looking and studying the digital landscape. So if we look at that for the last 5 years, we've seen startup companies that have maybe 2 or 5 people working that have toppled at a rate never seen before. And what this has done is created a lot of disruption in the marketplace. There is disruption in how we consume media, so in our social and cultural economy. And what I believe is that the advertising landscape needs to change too. So how do we do that? So my idea for today is to introduce Lean and Agile Advertising.
And what is Lean and Agile?
Lean and Agile actually came about in the late 1980s with John Krafcik. He did a paper at MIT and it was all about optimizing processes. And the term actually came a little bit even before that in the 1930s when Toyota tried to increase their manufacturing capacity. So what it really means at the core is eliminating waste, eliminating burden. It's about cutting down on requirements that actually impede progress. It's about focusing on the parts which can bring real value with minimum effort. And in the software development world, what that means is producing a minimum viable product or your MVP. And for Agile, which is a methodology that's become really popular in the past 5 years, started around 2001. And what that is about is having objectives and ideas that evolve through collaboration. So we have self-organizing, cross-functional teams that make continuous improvements to product as opposed to launching with a finished product. There's multiple ideas that are being tested and finding better solutions each step of the way. Very, very nimble by nature.
So how does it practically work?
It's a really good question because I think a lot of digital agencies or even any agency is trying to figure that out. It's a very hot topic at the moment. And in order for it to work, we have to look at how we're working at the moment and compare that to how we can incorporate some lean and agile methodology. So how we're working at the moment is we gather the requirements, which becomes the brief. We go into conceptualization, we create the idea, and it goes into a lengthy implementation or production phase, which is then followed by maintenance. Now, this is actually okay if agencies had all the time in the world, which we don't, and alongside this is we have 3 steps of approval for internal and client-facing that are inserted in between all these steps. So in the end, what you have is a very, very long, lengthy project. Okay, so that is the problem. And how we can actually solve that is testing in the conceptual phase, having multidisciplinary teams, and eliminating waste.
So essentially what you're saying is that the current process is really too long in terms of getting an idea out to market, and you're advocating for a far more seamless approach to internal processes to get work out. I mean, do you not feel that this is really ambitious?
I do, but at the same time, I feel that, digital really has changed just about everything. It has changed the economy, it has changed our values, it's changed how we connect. And it wasn't a gradual change. It all happened very quickly. So I think because of that, there's no choice but to actually adapt to this change. I think that it's a necessity for us, and it is radical.
So Dan, I think what Kim's saying is with a little bit of risk, the reward might be a seamless process, but a more innovative ethos in producing the products that agencies produce anyway. It can't. I don't see how it could hurt trying a different approach to produce a more innovative product as well as more innovative thinking on the ground.
Thanks for that, Verushen. But I think that my concern is that, knowing the sort of clients we work with, we're talking about really huge companies with entrenched processes, strong dogmas about how marketing works that are very traditional. These are companies whose processes simply won't change because we tell them that they need to be lean and agile. So I guess that my question to you, Kim, is how do we then take this approach and try to sell them to our clients that are actually very dogmatic and traditional in the way they approach things?
I think we have to first do it ourselves, produce the results that are necessary to convince our client. I think when we work better, client will benefit and experience that at the end.
So agencies should invest into taking this approach so that products delivered to clients can illustrate the efficiency in innovation.
Yes, innovation, yeah, because essentially that's what's going to drive their business. But when they're getting business results from this agency, then they will most likely listen to some of the new ideas that we have, because the new ideas might work quite well, like the other ideas we've innovated on. Proof is in the pudding.
So if the proof is in the pudding, say I want to develop an app. What process do you think I should follow in order to make this happen in a lean and agile way?
In terms of a mobile app within an agency, I think agencies should do a skills audit, regardless of knowing and especially defining what the vision and objectives of the app is. So if the app is about sports, you won't get someone who knows nothing about sports. Yes, even though that person might be great at a user interface, but during that phase, you need the right people on the right job. You put a team together, and lean would be defining the most important values or requirements to get a prototype up running as quickly as possible. And using Agile, you would be testing that product. So you could have user testing, you could have a soft launch to a select few, and literally get user feedback and continuously improve on the product. Instead of the normal way in the agency where you need the big idea first and it goes into production or crafting and implementation, and the optimization actually only comes in at the end.
So Kim, it all sounds amazing. How risky is it? How risky is it to leave guys at their own devices just to push on and do work? Surely that's a managed process.
Yes. I think that's actually a topic big enough for another discussion, but there are certain methodologies that leaders in the industry have investigated. And how do you actually manage lean and agile, or how do you manage innovation? But yeah, I think that's a whole nother topic. There are different models that you can look into.
I mean, I can't wait for that other podcast. So do you mind sharing with us one of those exciting methodologies right now?
Sure. Basically, in innovation, you have disruptive, you have incremental, and you also have sort of what they call planned innovation, and also your research and development team. So it's very important to actually separate what type of innovation you are dealing with. And depending on each, you can actually devise a plan on how to manage it and what kind of resources are required. Someone who works very well in a disruptive innovation idea generation phase is very different to someone who works in an incremental phase. So you're almost managing based on not just the skill set, but also on the way that they work. In other words, instead of blanketing over one management style over a group of different people, you actually look at how they innovate and manage it accordingly. So that's just one of them, defining the different types of innovation models.
Awesome. Thanks for that. That was a great discussion. So Kim, if people want to find out more about this topic, and of course, find out more about you, what do they need to do?
They can Google Lean or Agile, plenty of material, or they can email me on kimmel@aquaonline.com.
Thanks, Kim. Thanks for being a part of this first podcast. I'm now going to pass over the ball to V for the tool of the week.
Okay, great. I think in this segment, we'll be bringing you guys great innovative tools that do something different from what you see and what you use every day, might make your agency experience or your agency work become a lot easier. This week's tool is Engager. It's a new social media listening tool. Differs a lot from Brand's Eye and Radiant 6 in the fact that it has very advanced natural language processor. This means that it prioritizes conversations a lot better, makes sure that sentiment is correctly administered, as well as provides for Arabic, French, and multilingual support so that agencies looking and companies looking to expand into Africa, Sub-Saharan Africa. Great tool, check it out, guys. Engage is changing the social listening space.
Cool. So V, just to give Aquanauts a bit more insight, where can they get their hands on the tool?
So it is a paid tool. There's a free version that you can try out and check out the demos on the website, www.engager.com.
Cool. So thanks for joining us for the first episode of the Brave Ideas podcast, brought to you by Aqua. We had a great time, and we look forward to episode 2 coming to inbox near you.